From the most impossible golf shots at pinpoint accuracy to the weirdest golf swings that left everyone speechless, these are the worst to best ball strikers, ranked. When you watch someone dismantle a golf course so thoroughly that grown men start comparing them to Ben Hogan, you know you're witnessing something special. August 1994 at Southern Hills. Nick Price arrives at the PGA Championship playing the best golf on the planet. He'd won the Open the previous month and had racked up 15 wins worldwide over the past 24 months. People were calling him scary good. They had no idea what was coming. Price had spent over a decade rebuilding his swing with David Ledbetter, transforming what he called an all-over-the-place move into the textbook action of the 1990s. The results, consistently among the best in total driving, combining both distance and accuracy. But at Southern Hills, all that work culminated in something extraordinary. Price led every single round and won by 6 strokes. After his second round 65, Ben Crenshaw, who knew a thing or two about golf history, said Price was striking the ball as good as anyone since Ben Hogan or Byron Nelson, and called him a man in full flight. This wasn't just winning, it was an all-time exhibition of ball striking. Price later said it was what his entire journey had been about, finally playing the way he'd always dreamed. Pure, consistent, devastating. That's what makes Nick Price one of the greatest ball strikers ever. Now, there's dominant, and then there's whatever Rory McIlroy did at Kiowa Island in 2012. The 23-year-old Northern Irishman won the PGA Championship by 8 strokes with a bogey-free final round of 66. The victory margin was a record for the PGA Championship, surpassing Jack Nicklaus's 7-stroke win in 1980. But here's what made it special. McIlroy never made a bogey over the final 23 holes of his marathon day. 0 mistakes, pure execution. At the 2014 WGC Bridgestone Invitational, McIlroy posted a perfect ball striking value, first in greens hit and first in total driving. His driving distance average that week was 334.8 yards, the best mark of the season. He hit 82.1% of his drives over 300 yards, including a streak of 19 consecutive drives of 300-plus yards. But honestly, the consistency is what separates him from everyone else. Over 8 full PGA Tour seasons, McIlroy never ranked outside the top 10 in strokes gained, tee to green. In 2019, he led the entire tour in tee to green at 2.126, off the tee at 1.195, and total at 2.551. Since strokes gained off the tee was introduced in 2016, he's finished no worse than 6th. Tiger Woods said it best. He's got all the talent in the world. When he gets it going, it's pretty impressive to watch. When McIlroy is dialed in from tee to green, he's playing a different golf course than everyone else. Next up, let's bring to the list someone who did something unimaginable. He was at the top of his game, winning tournaments, dominating the tour, when he decided to blow it all up and start from scratch. Of course, we're talking of 1984's Nick Faldo. Back then, he was already a multiple winner and reigning European Order of Merit champion. And then he met David Ledbetter in South Africa. Faldo had talent. He'd won 5 times the year before, but he knew something was missing. Ledbetter's diagnosis? A complete swing rebuild, estimated to take 2 years. The gamble almost destroyed him. Faldo went winless in 1985. His game fell apart. Critics mocked him. Then came Muirfield in 1987. Faldo made 18 consecutive pars to win his first major, defeating Paul Azinger by 1 stroke. Sounds boring? Well, it wasn't. Not all were regulation pars. He got up and down from bunkers on 3 different holes, including a crucial 30-footer on the 7th. Paul Azinger led by 3 at the turn, but bogeyed 4 of his last 9 holes. Meanwhile, Faldo just kept grinding. No mistakes, no heroics, just relentless precision. He holed a 5-footer on the final hole for his 18th consecutive par. Faldo later called it one of his greatest 18-hole performances under pressure. The rebuilt swing worked. 3 Open championships and 3 Masters titles would follow. The 2-year investment in ball striking perfection paid off in ways most players only dream about. When technology changes overnight and everyone's forced to adapt, most struggle. Only a few figure it out. And one guy becomes absolutely unstoppable. The early 1930s brought steel shafts to replace hickory, fundamentally changing how golf clubs needed to be swung. Byron Nelson recognized this shift earlier than most and developed what became known as the modern golf swing. The old wristy action required for hickory wouldn't work. Nelson built something entirely new, a swing driven by legs and body rotation, more upright, more powerful, more repeatable. Then came 1945. Nelson played 30 tournaments that season. He won 18 of them. From March through August, he won 11 consecutive tournaments, the most famous winning streak in golf history. He finished second 7 times and never outside the top 10 except once. His scoring average was 68.33, a record that stood for 55 years until Tiger Woods broke it in 2000. The ball striking was surgical. Nelson's club face stayed square to the ball for 11 inches through impact, compared to 9 inches for Ben Hogan and 7 inches for Sam Snead. Jack Nicklaus called a Nelson clinic the finest exhibition of golfing accuracy I've ever witnessed. The USGA named their testing robot Iron Byron in his honor. When you're so consistent they build a machine to replicate your swing, we can agree that you've reached a different level in this sport. But the next guy on this list, he makes golf look like it was designed specifically for him. If you were to design a golf swing from scratch, Adam Scott's would be close to the finished product. Over a 2.5-decade career, the Australian has collected 14 PGA Tour wins, including the 2013 Masters, all while being one of the best ball strikers in the game. His exceptionally wide swing arc is partly why he's such a consistent ball striker. Everything about his motion screams efficiency. Stable lower body, arms moving in perfect sync with his turn, a finish that looks like it belongs in a museum. He's long been known for having one of the greatest swings in professional golf. If you want some real proof, it would be the 2013 Masters. There, Scott led the entire field in greens hit at 76%. That's insane precision on one of the toughest courses in the world. He made a 15-foot birdie putt on the second playoff hole to beat Angel Cabrera and become the first Australian to win the Masters. When people talk about pure ball striking, Adam Scott's name belongs in that conversation every single time. His striking is smooth and effortless, making golf look easy when we all know it's anything but. Sure thing, smooth swings are beautiful. But what happens when someone builds a career on something completely different and somehow makes it work better than anyone else? Enter Lee Trevino, arguably one of the greatest ball strikers in golf history, and he did it with a swing that looked nothing like the textbook. In 1962, he watched Ben Hogan hit balls on a driving range, spying on golf's best ever ball striker, and that moment transformed his game into one of the most iconic fades in history. The result? 6 major championships and 29 PGA Tour victories. At the 1968 U.S. Open at Oak Hill, Trevino became the first player ever to shoot all 4 rounds under par, firing 69-68, 69-69 to win by 4 strokes over Jack Nicklaus. The crazy part of it is that in 1968, Trevino finished 11th in driving accuracy and was just 1 yard shy of being the only player to finish in the top third on tour in both distance and accuracy. Long and straight, a combination that almost never happens. Even Tiger Woods called him the greatest ball striker there is. Respect? Yes, but it is more than that. That's recognition from one legend to another. Trevino proved you don't need the prettiest swing. You just need to own it completely. But what if you had the swing everyone else wanted to copy? That was Sam Snead. He had the sweetest swing in the history of the game. One of the smoothest, most rhythmic golf swings ever seen. Almost effortless, yet generating tremendous power, making him one of the longest hitters of his era. And it wasn't just fans who thought so. Even Lee Trevino said it without hesitation. There is no doubt the best of all time is Sam Snead. He had such a smooth rhythm, it was incredible to watch. Coming from Trevino, that's about as high as praise gets. The numbers back it up. Snead won 82 PGA Tour events, a record that stood alone for over 50 years until Tiger Woods matched it in 2019. Among those wins were 7 major championships. He won every major for which he was eligible except the US Open, where he finished second 4 times. His 8 victories at the Greater Greensboro Open set a record for most wins in a single event. His final Greensboro win came in 1965 at age 52, making him the oldest golfer to ever win on the PGA Tour, a record that still stands. In short, Snead was probably the most naturally gifted hitter of the golf ball to ever live, all because that silky swing was brutally effective for decades. This next player is someone who wanted not only to create the perfect swing, but to have power, precision, and an almost supernatural ability to hit shots nobody else could. That's Jack Nicklaus. His ball striking was the stuff of legend. He could hit a long iron higher and land softer than other pros could with wedges. While others were focused on making things look smooth, the Golden Bear was busy making the impossible look routine. We could see it at the 1972 US Open with a 3-shot lead on the par 3 17th hole. Nicklaus hit one of the most famous shots in golf history. His one iron went directly at the pin, bounced once, struck the flagstick, and settled inches from the hole for a tap-in birdie. You could call it luck, but it was decades of mastering ball striking at the highest level. When his swing speed was measured at 58 years old on the senior tour, it clocked in at 120 miles per hour. At 58, imagine what he was doing in his prime. Nicklaus won 18 major championships, a record that still hasn't been bettered, including 6 green jackets and 3 Open championships. He also won 73 PGA Tour titles, which has only been bettered by Tiger Woods and Sam Snead. Even Nicklaus himself, when asked to pick the best ball strikers of all time, named Hogan and Trevino. But the thing is, when you can hit a one-iron 218 yards into the wind and have it hit the flagstick, you belong right there with them. Speaking of the best, we need to bring to this list someone we've mentioned a lot so far in this video. Welcome back, Tiger Woods. When you combine extreme length with control through the bag and produce what's considered the all-time standard for ball striking, you've reached a different level entirely. That was Tiger in his prime. The year 2000. Woods led the tour in greens in regulation at 75.15%, the highest percentage ever recorded on the PGA Tour, a record that still stands today. Think about that. With all the technology advances since then, nobody's touched it, and it gets better. At the 2000 US Open at Pebble Beach, Woods hit 70.8% of greens while the field averaged 48.4%, a margin of over 22%. He won by 15 strokes, the only player to beat par for the week, 15 strokes, in a US Open. A month later at St. Andrews, his 8-stroke Open Championship victory was what Woods himself calls the finest ball striking of his career. In 1999 and 2000, he topped nearly every statistical category: greens in regulation, total driving, the works. Tiger didn't just hit it pure, he hit it longer and straighter than anyone while making it look effortless. That's why he's on this list. Another name that keeps popping up is this guy. In fact, when Jack Nicklaus was asked if Tiger Woods was the best ball striker he'd ever seen, he said, no, Ben Hogan easily. Coming from the Golden Bear himself, that's saying something. Even Tiger Woods himself agreed. He even said that only 2 players ever truly owned their swings, and one of them was Ben Hogan. But what does that mean? It means they had total control over it, and as a result, complete control over the ball's flight. Now, if you want an example, let's rewind to 1967. A 54-year-old Ben Hogan fired 281 shots, 141 of which found the greens. Of those 141, a staggering 139 were rated from well-executed to superbly executed. Only 2 mishits in an entire tournament. If he could do that at 54, it goes without saying that at his peak, he was an absolute beast. In 1953, Hogan played in only 6 tournaments and won 5 of them, including 3 majors, the Masters, US Open, and Open Championship. This Triple Crown remains one of the greatest single seasons in golf history. Nobody matched that feat until Tiger Woods won 3 majors in 2000. If you look up in a dictionary what pure ball striking is, the ability to compress the golf ball exactly as intended, shot after shot after shot, Ben Hogan's face should be right there. Or at least that's how it feels. So Tiger Woods said that only 2 players ever truly owned their swings. Ben Hogan was one, and now let me introduce the other one. Mo Norman, a Canadian golfer whose accuracy and ability to hit shot after shot perfectly straight earned him nicknames like Pipeline Mo and golf's savant Rain Man. Sam Snead called him the greatest striker of the ball, and Vijay Singh, God's gift to golf. Why so many nicknames? Well, it was because the numbers are just ridiculous. Norman won 55 tournaments on the Canadian Tour, set 33 course records, shot 59 3 separate times, and made 17 holes in one. In 1958 alone, he entered 21 tournaments and won 17 of them. His swing looked weird, honestly. Wide stance, arms extended far from his body, club head starting a foot behind the ball. Spectators laughed when they saw him address the ball, but then he'd hit it, and the laughter stopped. Shot after shot, laser straight, landing in a circle you could cover with a blanket. Yet Mo struggled with social situations and never found success on the PGA Tour. He stayed in Canada, lived modestly, and spent decades in relative obscurity. But the people who watched him hit golf balls knew the truth. Nobody, and I mean nobody, hit it straighter. And that's why he's topping this list. If we talk about ball striking in its purest form, we're talking about Mo Norman.